Greetings, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the UN Movie Society's Shakespeare at the UN, celebrating English Language Day 2026 and the bard's enduring relevance to our global mission. Shakespeare's literature transcends mere words. It mirrors our shared humanity, echoing the very essence of the UN. His work speaks across every border and every tongue, a common currency of the human spirit, connecting cultures that might otherwise never meet. He wrote about the texture of ordinary life, and yet somehow captured what we most struggle to say, what it costs to be human, what we owe one another, and what we share beneath our differences. Every grief, every injustice, every moment of joy, he found the words, and in finding them, he reminds us that none of us carries these things alone. That is precisely why we are here today at the United Nations. The UN was built on the conviction that across every language, culture, and conflict, there is a shared humanity worth defending. Shakespeare believed the same. On this English Language Day, we are honored to bring together extraordinary artists across the globe, performing in Chinese, French, Spanish, sign language, Japanese, and English to illuminate the UN's own pillars of human rights and peace and security through his words. We are deeply grateful to all who made this possible. We thank His Excellency Archie Young, DPR of the United Kingdom to the UN, for his presence and his opening remarks today. We are honored by the participation of Shakespeare's Globe and its artistic director, Michelle Terry, whose presentation of Shylock's landmark speech, so profound a meditation on human dignity, is performed by the late Adrian Schiller, one of Britain's most distinguished classical actors. We thank the Royal Centre School of Speech and Drama and its principal and CEO, Josette Bouchon-Mingo, whose performers bring us voices from Henry V, Titus Andronicus, Macbeth, and Richard II. We are grateful to the Royal Shakespeare Company and its co-artistic directors Daniel Evans and Tamara Harvey for their reflections on this occasion. And we thank Professor Michael Dobson, Director of the Shakespeare Institute, for bringing his scholarship to close our program. We also extend our warmest thanks to all our brilliant performing actors, including Yamato Kochi and Maimi, joining us from Japan, Petro Ninovsky, representing Ukraine, and Richard Keith from the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts, RADA, whose artistry reminds us that Shakespeare belongs to every nation. To those joining us from around the world, we are glad you're here. Welcome to Shakespeare at the UN.
All the world's a stage. Particularly true here at the United Nations, the world's stage. The UK mission to the UN is delighted to celebrate Shakespeare's birthday and English Language Day. And on a personal level, this is particularly meaningful for me. My mum and stepdad were both actors, so this is a chance for me to honour their memory. Now, as diplomats here at the UN, we need to understand the motivations and interests of our counterparts from across the world. Shakespeare's insights help us understand the people we're working with, whether it's their vaulting ambition or modest doubt, or their honour, truth, and loyalty. Shakespeare's work also grapples with many of the issues that we face here. Questions of sovereignty, power, leadership, such as in the tragedies or the history plays, where the horrors of war and the fragility of peace are also central themes. Issues of rights and freedoms, such as the right to a fair trial in The Merchant of Venice or freedom from religious persecution in As You Like It. The importance of nature is another central theme, especially in his sonnets. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. And the importance of humanitarian assistance and protecting the vulnerable, as in the stranger's case from Sir Thomas More. Now, we are working at the UN to make a positive impact on these and many other issues. And to do so, we must speak truth to power, just as Kent does to King Lear. Now, Shakespeare was holding a mirror to the world 400 years ago, and that mirror is as sharp and revealing today. He pricks our conscience, pierces our pretension. He helps us understand human judgment and motivation, our fears and fallibility, our hopes and our humanity. Enjoy.
Hello, I'm Tamara Harvey.
And I'm Daniel Evans.
And we are the co-artistic directors of the Royal Shakespeare Company.
And we are thrilled once again this year to support the UN Movie Society's Shakespeare at the United Nations project.
Over 50% of the world's young people come into contact with Shakespeare at some point during their learning. And Shakespeare's works continue to be globally resonant, deepening our understanding of ourselves, each other, and the world around us, and bringing joy.
And we both passionately believe that great storytelling can help change the world. And perhaps theatre, and particularly Shakespeare, can do so. It brings a group of relative strangers together and forms a cohesive audience that hears a story unfold right in front of their eyes.
So our thanks to the United Nations for continuing to celebrate the legacy and the resonance of this extraordinary playwright.
Hello, my name's Michelle Terry and I'm the Artistic Director of Shakespeare's Globe in London. At the time of recording this message, there are 4 amazing human beings in a spaceship flying back from the far side of the moon. They have gone further into outer space than any other human being has ever gone before, and they are sending us back the most awe-inspiring images of the moon, of course, but also our incredible planet as it hangs so perfectly and so delicately in that cosmic universe. Victor Glover, the pilot of the Artemis II mission, when he looked back to Earth from space, felt compelled to remind us that no matter where you're from or what you look like, we are all one people. Which makes it even harder to believe that on our little planet there are people right now who seem more interested in dividing and dehumanizing and destroying than they are in coming together and seeing each other as one. Shakespeare's plays remind us that we've not really been any different. Those plays also remind us that there is another way. So just as scientists are explaining to us why the journey to the moon matters, that we need to keep pushing the boundaries and exploring the possibilities of outer space, I think that Shakespeare reminds us that we also need to keep pushing the boundaries and exploring the possibilities of our inner space. In A Midsummer Night's Dream, he asks us to take time to pause, because in that pause, some inner space is created, and our imagination has time to consider. Consider the state we're in, and consider another way. That seems to be one of the roles of art at the moment, which is to create the pause to look at amazing photographs of our planet hanging in space, and the pause to come together in a theatre or a room to watch a play or a scene. This speech from one of the greatest writers, spoken by one of the greatest actors, asks us to take time to pause, to make space and to consider. Consider our shared and common humanity. Consider the possibility that we are all one people. Consider the state those people are in right now, and consider another way. In the face of so much horror and unbridled hate, Shakespeare does remind us that we do have a choice. And in the face of hate, there is always another way, and that way is love. So, with great love to you all, from us all at Shakespeare's Globe.
Hath not a Jew eyes? Hath not a Jew hands, organs, dimensions, senses, affections, passions, fed with the same food, hurt with the same weapons, subject to the same diseases, healed by the same means, warmed and cooled by the same winter and summer as a Christian is. If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die? And if you wrong us, shall we not revenge? If we are like you in the rest, we shall resemble you in that. If a Jew wrong a Christian, what's his humility? Revenge. If a Christian wrong a Jew, what should his sufferance be by Christian example? Why revenge? The villainy you teach me, I will execute, and it shall go hard, but I will better the instruction.
Hello, my name is Josette Bushell-Mingo, Principal and CEO of the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama, University of London. Royal Central is thrilled to once again contribute to this wonderful project to celebrate English Language Day at the United Nations and marking the birth of Shakespeare. We extend our thanks to the United Nations Movie Society and its president, our former student, Brenda Vongova, for inviting us to collaborate with you once again. Thank you. This year, the speeches we present reflect the increasing importance of peace, security, and human rights, especially against the backdrop we find ourselves in as a civilization at this moment in time. I would like to extend my deepest thanks to the following members of our alumni community for their contributions to this celebration. Qi Peng Wang, performing a monologue from Henry V in Chinese. Solon Mara Lewis, performing a monologue from Titus Andronicus in French. Nina Fogg, performing a speech from Macbeth in English. And Juan José Galeano Pareja, performing a speech from Richard II, Spanish spoken and sign language. Across his plays and poetry, Shakespeare consistently challenged the abuse of power, championed justice, and called for peace built on equality and mutual respect, values as vital today as when they were written. His works span 4 centuries, yet speak with remarkable relevance to the world we live today, challenging every generation to strive harder for justice, reconciliation, and equal dignity for all. I say this every year, but without question, I believe the arts are fundamental to who we are, for our memory, community, family, history, language, faiths, for our families, for our children, for all that is terrible in us, but also to remind us of who we can be, the best of us. Thank you once again. I wish you a happy English Language Day from all of us here at the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama, London, United Kingdom.
他年轻时候的行为完全看不出会有这样的变化。当他的父王咽下最后一口气的时候，他仿佛变了，他身上的轻狂与狂妄仿佛也一同死去了。就在那一瞬间，审时和夺势像天使一般降临，将他体内的犯错的亚当一同驱逐了出去，使他的身体仿佛成了一座乐园，容纳所有守护天上的灵魂。从未有人如此的突然变成了一位学者，从未见过改革像洪水一般的汹涌而来，像如此的猛烈，如此的汹涌。就像那头多头怪物一般的骄傲与放纵，也从未有过人像这样的迅速的、猛烈的被驱逐出位，就像发生在刚才那位国王身上一样。我们为他的变化而感到蒙福。
Écoutez, Romains, mes frères, nobles conquérants, Titus victorieux. Ayez pitié des larmes que je verse. Ce sont les larmes d'une mère pour son fils. Et si vos propres fils vous furent jamais chers, pensez que le mien m'est tout aussi précieux. Ne suffit-il pas que nous ayons été traînés jusqu'à Rome pour orner votre courroux, captifs sous votre joug? Faut-il encore que mes fils soient massacrés dans vos rues pour avoir combattu au nom de leur patrie? C'est combattre pour son roi et pour le bien commun, et vertu chez les vôtres. J'en ai une aussi chez les miens. Andronicus, ne tachez pas votre tombe de sang. Vous voulez vous rapprocher de la nature des dieux? Alors, soyez clément. La clémence est la véritable marque de la noblesse.
The raven himself is hoarse. That croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan. Under my battlements, calm you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe, top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood, stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctuous visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breasts and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers, wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief.
Por favor, sentémonos en el suelo. Vamos a contar historias tristes sobre reyes muertos. A algunos les quitaron la corona. A otros los mataron en la guerra. A algunos los persiguen los fantasmas de aquellos quienes ellos mismos traicionaron. A otros los envenenaron sus esposas. A otros los mataron mientras dormían. Todos fueron asesinados, porque ahí, dentro de esa corona vacía que rodea la frente del rey, vive la muerte. Ahí se sienta esa figura burlona riéndose de su poder y de su orgullo. Los deja vivir un tiempo, un pequeño teatro para que jueguen a ser rey, sean temidos y maten con la mirada. Les llena la mente de orgullo y vanidad. Les hace creer que su cuerpo es de bronce, imposible de vencer.
When in disgrace with fortune in men's eyes, I all alone beweep my outcast state, and troubled of heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate, wishing me like to one more rich in hope, featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art and that man's scope, with what I most enjoy contented least. Yet, in these thoughts, myself almost despising, haply I think on thee, and then my state, like to the lark at break of day arising, from sullen earth sings hymns at heaven's gate, for thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings.
rebellious subjects, enemies to peace, profaners of this neighbour's stained steel. Will they not hear? What ho, you men, you beasts, that quench the fire of your pernicious rage with purple fountains issuing from your veins? Throw your mistempered weapons to the ground and hear the sentence of your moved prince. Three civil brawls, bred of an airy word by thee, old Capulet, and Montague, have thrice disturbed the quiet of our streets, and made Verona's ancient citizens cast by their grave beseeming ornaments, to wield old partisans in hands as old, cankered with peace, to part your cankered hate. If ever you disturb our streets again, your lives shall pay the forfeit of the peace. For this time all the rest depart away. You, Capulet, shall go along with me. And Montague, come you this afternoon to know our further pleasure in this case, to old Free Town, our common judgment place.
今日の戦闘は消えゆく雲と明かりを増す光が競い合う明け方の戦いそっくりだ。今一方が優位に立つとすぐに他方がそれをしのぐ。なんて哀れな光景だ。残酷な時勢だ。ライオンどもが住処を奪い合って戦うとき、いつも罪もない子羊たちがその巻き添えを食う。哀れみを、哀れみをかけたまえ。情け深い天よ。神様、私には朴訥な羊飼いの暮らしの方がよほど幸せに思えます。今の私のように丘の上に座り、日時計のメモリを一つ一つ丹念に刻みつけ、それを見て時の歩みを知る。何分でちょうど1時間になるか、何時間で丸1日になるか、何日で1年が終わるか、何年で人の一生が尽きるか。それが分かると次に時間を振り分ける。何時間羊の世話にかけるべきか、何時間瞑想にふけるべきか、何時間楽しい気晴らしにかけるべきか。何日経てば雌羊は子をはらみ、何週間経てばその無垢な生き物は子羊を産み落とすか。そんな風に何分、何時間、何日、何週、何ヶ月、何年かがそれぞれの使命を帯びて過ぎてゆき、やがて白髪頭を静かな墓へ送り込み、爽やかな木陰での日々のまどろみの中で、なんて甘く素晴らしい人生だろう。
天国はジュリエットの住むここにある。猫も犬も子ネズミも取るに足らない生き物も皆この天国に住み、ジュリエットを見ることができるのに、ロミオには許されない。腐れ肉にたかるハエの方がロミオよりはるかに恵まれ、身分も高く優雅に暮らせる。かわいいジュリエットの奇跡のような白い手にとどまり、あの唇から永遠の祝福を盗むこともできるのだから。だがロミオには許されない。ロミオは追放。ハエにすら許されることも捨てていかねばならない。ハエは自由なのに、僕は追放だ。 追放は嫌だ。追放？追放の一言で僕を切り苛むのですか？隠れる？嫌です。悲しい胸のため息が霧となって立ち上り、僕を追っ手の目から隠してくれるのでない限り。
Come hither, you that would be combatants. Henceforth I charge you, as you love our favor, quite to forget this quarrel and the cause. And you, my lords, remember where we are. If they perceive dissension in our looks, and that within ourselves we disagree, how will their grudging stomachs be provoked to willful disobedience and rebel? Besides, what infamy will there arise when foreign princes shall be certified that for a toy, a thing of no regard, King Henry's peers and chief nobility destroyed themselves and lost the realm of France? Oh, think upon the conquest of my father, my tender years, and let us not forego that for a trifle that was bought with blood. Let me be umpire in this doubtful strife. I see no reason, if I wear this rose, that anyone should therefore be suspicious I more inclined to Somerset than York. Both are my kinsmen, and I love them both. As well they may upbraid me with my crown, because forsooth the King of Scots is crowned. But your discretions better can persuade than I am able to instruct or teach. And therefore, as we hither came in peace, so let us still continue peace and love.
Hello, my name's Professor Michael Dobson. I'm the director of the Shakespeare Institute in Stratford-upon-Avon, which is a research department of the University of Birmingham. I'm very happy to be part of this programme of extracts from Shakespeare and thoughts about Shakespeare at the United Nations and in relation to the aspirations and goals of the United Nations. As we've seen, in many ways, Shakespeare's plays resonate with the desire for peace and, above all, the desire for dialogue. It's not that Shakespeare himself, in person, makes great speeches about how we should all be nice to each other. It's just that his plays show us the consequences of war, the consequences of grief, and also ways in the comedies in which we might imagine communities nonetheless putting themselves back together, families being reunited, trauma slipping into the past. The point about Shakespeare is not so much what the characters individually say, but the fact that they all have the right to speak. The fact that these plays between them show us about every possible way in which human beings engage with each other through language. In the dark times we're living in now, and I've seen myself the ways in which Shakespeare's plays are participating in wartime, where in Ukraine over the last 4 years, almost a quarter of all theatrical performances have been versions of Shakespeare plays. And to be among an audience full of people who are coping with bereavement and trying to imagine ways in which the world might be put right is an extraordinary privilege. In these dark times, we need more dialogue. We need more of the United Nations. We need more Shakespeare.